On all of our social media platform. We are coming to you live on YouTube at Kutv News Live. You can tweet us on X at Kutv, Kenya at Auma Events. Remember to use the hashtag KUTV Primetime News. So tonight we begin with matters education. Now, researchers and policymakers are calling on universities to take scientific research beyond the laboratory into communities. Speaking during the 2026 African Universities and Climate Week at Kenyatta University, the expert urged institutions to bridge the gap between the scientific research, indigenous knowledge, and community-driven innovations. They argue that linking academic research with local knowledge and community experiences can help develop practical solutions to Africa's most pressing challenges. Melka Thoya starts us off tonight with a report.
The African University and Climate Week 2026 forum held at Kenyatta University has brought together researchers, university leaders, policymakers, and other stakeholders to explore practical response and develop solutions to Africa's growing effects on climate change. Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Outreach and Innovation, Professor Caroline Thorua, representing Kenyatta University, Vice Chancellor Professor John Okumu, emphasized the need to bridge rural and urban communities by sharing indigenous knowledge, saying such approaches are key to strengthening climatic actions.
Hosting AUCCW 2026 here at Kenyatta University is both a privilege and a responsibility. It reflects our dedication to strengthening partnerships between universities and communities, bridging urban and rural divides through shared learning on food systems, health, and livelihoods, elevating indigenous knowledge systems as vital pillars of climate action.
Researchers say closer collaboration and partnership will help ensure scientific findings are translated into solutions that directly benefit communities.
We believe there is an amazing opportunity to come together, to unite, so that climate and other environmental and health issues that are similar are seen as opportunities, not only a crisis, but a chance to come together and bring out the best of who we are.
And our interest is largely to see how we can be able to synergize the activities in the indigenous communities by complementing what they do through research. And so we are co-creating with the indigenous communities and the public out there through our research and collaborations.
The stakeholders also emphasized the need to bridge the gap between communities and researchers, saying that meaningful engagement can help ensure research responds to real-world needs.
We are really looking at basically continuing to bridge the gap between science or between research and community engagement, where we center communities, indigenous knowledge, children. And so from this second edition of AUCCW, we are really looking to see how, and we're also this is the urban setting, with the previous one having been the rural setting. So we're basically wanting to bridge those divides, bridge those gaps.
The stakeholders are now calling for greater investment in research, innovation, and community partnership, saying Africa can strengthen its response to climate change by combining modern science with indigenous knowledge and local solutions. Yvonne Shirisha, KUTV.
Alright, that story was produced by our very own Melka Thoya and voiced by Yvonne Shirisha. Now let's switch gears to matters politics. President William Ruto has stepped up his criticism of the opposition while bringing together UDA and ODM and other broad-based government allies for a three-day political retreat. And as Brian Auma reports, the meeting is expected to review the coalition's partnership, government's agenda and future political direction as parties begin positioning themselves ahead of the 2027 general election.
Speaking during a parliamentary group retreat with the broad-based government allies in Naivasha, Nakuru County, the United Democratic Alliance Party leader, President William Ruto, used the platform to emphasize unity among the allies and the need for common political direction while criticizing his political opposers, terming them as chaotic and agendaless.
The other side is in chaos. Our track record speaks for itself. I know when we challenge our competitors to give us their track record, they fumble and mumble and they say nothing because they do not have one. So we not only have a track record, we have a practical, clear plan for the future of our nation.
On the other side, ODM party leader Senator Dr. Oburu Odinga called for political clarity within the alliance, urging leaders to take a clear position on the Ruto-ODM partnership. His remarks added another dimension to an alliances that have faced questions over their political direction and long-term future.
We are now tied together. We are with an umbilical cord, and this umbilical cord should be nursed, and we must urge that let us be straightforward. If you have any issue that you want to raise, please raise it honestly, but don't be a fence sitter. The only thing which President Uhuru Kenyatta gave us was a promise to give us the presidency.
The Senate Majority Leader, Senator Aaron Cheruiyot, emphasized the need for greater coordination among lawmakers, supporting the broad-based government as the political partners seek to maintain a common legislative and political front.
I think, Your Excellency, we've met like this together before, bringing together the larger broad-based family. But that's the team that you lead, and we must really be grateful to God. This is the envy of our competitors. You know, so for some of our competitors, if they were to call such a meeting, they will not need this hall. The holding room that you used will be enough for them.
With less than 48 hours to a much-anticipated national conversation on governance and the economy, the Naivasha retreat has added to the political spotlight on the future of the broad-based government as the 2027 calculations take shape. Brian Auma, KUTV.
Thank you, Brian Auma, for that comprehensive reporting. At the same time, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has accused Director of Criminal Investigation, or if you prefer the acronym DCI boss Amin Mohammed, of shielding police officers who allegedly is accused of killing Mount Elgon politician Nathan Wasama. Speaking during a DCP popularization tour in Narok East constituency in Narok County, Gachagua faulted Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, accusing him of protecting police officers allegedly linked to the killing of Dr. Victoria Mutiso. Vincent Karori reports.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has turned his fire on the country's top security officials, accusing them of shielding police officers linked to alleged killings. Speaking during a DCP popularization tour in Narok East constituency, Gachagua accused DCI Director Amin Mohammed of covering up alleged involvement of officers in the killing of Mount Elgon politician Nathan Wasama. Gachagua said Wasama had reported that his life was in danger before his death, but the government failed to take serious action to protect him. He further criticized Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, accusing him of protecting officers allegedly linked to the death of Dr. Victoria Mutiso. Gachagua's remarks come following the detention of 3 suspects, while other suspects remain at large in connection with the killing of Dr. Victoria Mutiso, who was shot dead on July 29, 2026, while on her morning commute. The assailants are reported to have been riding a motorcycle during the attack.
Mimi jana nilisema huyu mtu anaitwa Muhammad ndio tumika katika cover up ya mauaji pale Mount Elgon. Kuna mtu anapigania kiti ya bunge ya Mount Elgon, anaitwa John Wasama. Alipiga ripoti kwa polisi mara 5, akasema maisha yake iko kwa hatari, na akasema yule amemtishia kumuua. Sasa hao ni wauaji. Maafisa ya polisi wameua mama daktari, na saa hii wamefichwa na Murkomen na polisi.
On the other hand, Gachagua accused President William Ruto of grabbing the Maasai community lands, assuring that if he will be elected, he will return the lands that were encroached.
Huyu Aramat ameshikana na Kasongo kuangaisha watu ya Narok, kuiba mashamba ya Masai. Shamba Iwaso Kidong, Kasongo na Aramat wamenyakua, wa Masai wamekosa mashamba.
With just 1 year left before Kenyans head to the polls, Gachagua is expected to deliver his assessment of President William Ruto's 4-year record in office tomorrow. Saroli, KUTV.
Matters politics. Now, Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna continues to rally support for a possible presidential bid ahead of the next general election. But questions remain over the level of backing he commands, particularly in the Western Kenya, a region perceived to be his backyard. Several leaders from the Western Bloc have appeared to distance themselves from his political ambition, with the Kottu Secretary General Francis Atwoli emerging as the latest figure to publicly downplay Sifuna's candidature. Listen in.
Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna has continued to position himself for the top seat in the country. However, the question of if his region leaders will back him has continued to cause reaction among Kenyans, who see Sifuna as the only option in the opposition. The region, which has for a long time been following Speaker Moses Wetangula and Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, is now split on who to support.
Mimi nataka kuambia hawa vijana, na bahati mzuri jana walikuwa kule kwetu Kakamega, na hapa kukua hata na mbunge mmoja elected, ama mzee ama mtu ambaye anajua kule siasa za Kenya zinaenda. Mimi nataka kuambia ni watoto wadogo sana. Ndio kasi ya vijana ni kulinda nchi, lakini sio uongozi. Vijana ni kuingia kwa majeshi, kwa polisi walinde nchi. Na wasituambie wanataka kuwa viongozi. Tutaonyesha kilichomfanya punda asimee pembe.
The latest fellow tribesman to rubbish Sifuna Rice is the Secretary General for the Central Organization for Trade Union Kottu, Francis Atwoli, who downplayed the Linda Mwananchi team led by the Nairobi Senator. He cited inexperience, age and lack of track record as reason for not supporting the Senator's bid.
Na sisi tuko imara, na mtu asicheze. Hawa nasikia wana mikutano, waje kwa mkutano wa tarehe 26 Bohongo. Asikia mlevi mwingine anasema tutakuwa na mkutano yetu siku hiyo. Ajaribu ndio atajua mimi ni nani. Ajaribu yeye. Ajaribu. Mwambie huyo kijana ajaribu siku hiyo. Atalete mkutano parallel na mkutano ya Waluya tarehe 26.
Sifuna has been calling on leaders in the region to unite behind him, with CS cooperatives, Wycliffe Oparanya being one of the leaders. However, the question that remains is, will the political leaders in the Western region back their son? As we approach the highly anticipated 2027 general elections, Kenyans now wait to see if Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna will be able to defy the odds and gather sufficient support for his presidential bid, despite having less experience and a less impressive track record as compared to his competitors.
It's boiling smoothly. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission, that is IEBC, is in a high-stake race against time, with just 1 year until Kenya's 2027 general election. In order to deliver credible and transparent democratic exercise, the Commission must quickly overcome funding deficits and logistical obstacles while implementing a massive 61.7 billion shillings operational roadmap and enforcing strict campaign financing limit Nyamu narrates IEBC preparedness ahead of the 2027 general elections.
With exactly 12 months remaining until Kenya's August 2027 general elections, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC is ramping up operational plans under its newly unveiled strategic plan. The Commission projects a record budget requirement of 61.7 billion to register over 5.7 million new voters and procure upgraded KIMS kit across 55,000 polling stations. Central to the operation roadmap in the enforcement of new election campaign financing regulations, setting strict spending ceilings for presidential, gubernatorial, and parliamentary aspirants to curb the influence of money in politics.
Ladies and gentlemen, similarly, the proposed contributions and spending limits. So we have the regulations, and together with the regulations, we have proposals also on contribution and spending limits. So you're looking at the regulations, which are broader, but in these discussions, we also need to discuss the aspect of contributions and also the spending limits.
Under these gazetted regulations on campaign spendings, presidential candidates are capped at a maximum of 4.43 billion, while gubernatorial, senatorial, and county women representative limits range from 21.9 million to 117.3 million. Members of parliament aspirants face limits between 11.2 million and 45.1 million, whereas members of county assembly candidates are restricted to spending between 2.3 million and 10.3 million, depending on ward size.
We hope that this will also be an opportunity to ensure that the proposed regulatory framework is practical, responsive, and reflective of the views of those who will be directly affected by its implementation. That includes the political parties and the candidates. And of course, the implementation of these regulations will also have impact to the larger Kenyan community.
However, the road ahead remains fraught with logistic and financial bottlenecks. The Commission faces 6.7 billion budget deficit, pending bills, and the urgent need to decommission aging technology. As the 365 days countdown begins, the IEBC is calling on citizens to actively engage in continuous voters registration, verify their details early, and reject electoral violence or misinformation.
All right, that story by Edward Nyamu now takes us to our first break here on KUTV Primetime News. Remember, still have much and more lined up for you after the break. Right, welcome back and thank you for keeping it KUTV Primetime News. Let's continue to inform you. Now, youths in Mombasa have been urged to shun drug abuse and political violence and instead embrace opportunities that can help them build better lives. The call was made during a youth empowerment initiative by Moldec, which seeks to support young people through mentorship, business, and social transformation. Faith Petra reports.
Initiative in Mombasa, Moldec has brought together young people seeking to break away from drug abuse, unemployment and political manipulation. It is using empowerment and guidance to help young people become self-reliant and make positive choices for their future. Youth participants in Moldec encourage other youth to keep off drugs and find constructive ways of using their time and talents, saying drug abuse may affect their health, future and productivity.
Kwa upande wa vijana ambao wataki kufanya kazi, wale ambao wamekaa tu barabarani, unaona kama sisi, kusema kweli sisi wenyewe hatukuwa hivi mbeleni. Tulikuwa vijana wengine watumizi wa madawa, watumizi wa pombe na miraa, lakini kwa sasa tumebadilisha njia nyingi. Wale vijana ambao wataki kufanya kazi, wajipatie, watuone sisi kama mfano, waweze kubadilisha maisha yao na kubadilisha njia zao.
The organization is also supporting youth who want to change their lives by providing guidance, skills and business opportunities.
Using drugs and indulging in activities that are negative to your body and to your well-being as a whole is not the solution. Come to Moldec so that you can be transformed and you find your purpose in life.
For one beneficiary, the program has been a turning point. After struggling with drug abuse, she says the support and guidance from Moldec helped her change her lifestyle, rebuild her confidence and pursue a more productive future.
Before this, I was struggling with anger issues and I was also struggling with drugs. But when I started this transformation, it wasn't easy, but somehow with his mentorship, it became lighter, the burden became lighter, and I can say right now, I am in a good position.
The organization is also urging young people to resist being used by politicians to cause violence. Moldec says youth should participate peacefully in politics and refuse to sacrifice their future for political interests.
Vijana hawa ambao mnaona hapa kupitia shirika hili, tumekuwa na vipindi vya kuweza kuhamasisha umuhimu wa kudumisha amani. Lengo letu wakati huo wa kuhamasisha vijana na kuwaeleza kwamba wasiweze kutumiwa kiholela holela, wasiweze kutumiwa na wanasiasa kwa njia ambayo sio sawa, ili kwamba waweze kudumisha amani tunapoelekea katika uchaguzi.
Moldec says investing in youth empowerment, skills and business opportunities can help young people to escape destructive behaviors and become productive citizens and agents of positive change. Petra Faith, KUTV.
Right, now switching gears to matters education. Our Educational Principal Secretary John Olalatua has reiterated the government's commitment to strengthening the education sector through timely student funding, teacher promotion and the provision of learning materials. Speaking at Hema Chitago Secondary School in Masaba South in Kisii County, during a development tour, Olalatua said that the government had allocated funds for the promotion of teachers in this year's budget. Well, Nyaribari Chache, Member of Parliament Zahid Chanda, has urged former Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i to join the broad government and work with President William Ruto.
Pinzani wameshachagua candidate wao ambaye ni Kalonzo Musyoka. And I want to send a message to my brother Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Tulikuwa na wewe jana, juzi tulikuwa pamoja. Hawa wapinzani wameshachagua candidate wao ambaye ni Kalonzo Musyoka. Wewe ni mtoto wetu. Wewe ni
mambo ya walimu. Hiyo mambo ya promotion, mnajua ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Rais ameweka hiyo budget na TSC imeshatangaza. Tutatembea pamoja na TSC tuone kile tunaweza kuwafanyia, na sisi kama wafanyikazi wa serikali.
Now, maendeleo ya wanawake Chairperson Rahab Mwiha has called on men and women to take routine cancer screening a priority. Speaking in Embu County, Mwiha urged the public to go for regular checkups for prostate, breast and cervical cancers, warning that delayed diagnosis continue to cost thousands of lives. She She also called on families to overcome stigma and fear associated with cancer screening, stressing that early detection greatly improves the chances of successful treatment.
When cancer is detected early, there is a big chance of being treated and living. We need early screening for breast cancer and for cervical cancer. And with a lot of pain and love, I want to use my own sister. The journey we have walked for 1 year between Nairobi Hospital and Mpisha, it's not been a cheap journey. And I want to say it is very expensive to treat cancer. My request is, medics waangalie what more can be done to make this bill affordable for many families. Let women go for screening. It should be an yearly screening for cervical and for breast cancer. Ikijulikana mapema,
Right, it's now time for the latest update in the world of sports. Now, Kenya faces stiff competition from Rome, Munich and London and the rest to host the 2029 World Athletics Championship. The country has formally submitted its bid, with the government confident that Nairobi can deliver a world-class event building on Kenya's long history of hosting major international athletics competition. The government has fully backed the bid, pledging to provide the required organizational framework and modern infrastructure to host the championship. Kenya last hosted the World Athletics Under-20 Championship in Nairobi in the year 2021, an event that further strengthened its case to stage the senior championships. Alright, and still motors athletics. Now, Kenya Athletics has concluded the World Athletics Under-20 Championship on high after producing a strong medal haul in Eugene, Oregon. Middle distance runner Josephine Sembeyo Mancha claimed a gold in the women's 1500 meters, clocking 4 minutes 16.73 seconds to lead Kenya's medal charge. Kenya finished the championship with 11 medals, including 4 golds, 3 silver and 3 bronze, cementing its position among the world's leading athletics nation. Elsewhere, Egypt's Abel Assel Hamid made history by becoming the first Egyptian woman to win a gold medal in the javelin at the World Under-20 Athletics Championship, marking a significant milestone for Egyptian athletics. And now some matters related to football. Now, Mombasa-based football club Bandari FC have boosted their attack with the signing of left-back, or rather left-winger Alex Kipruto, as they set their sight on the league title in the upcoming season. Meanwhile, Kenya Police midfielder Tobias Otieno has sealed the move to Tanzania, joining Tra FC for a new chapter in his career. Beg your pardon. Otieno is expected to bring experience and creativity to Tanzanian side as midfield and looks to make an impact in the new campaign. Right, we have really talked about a lot of political stories that have made headline. Talk about sports from Trump all the way to the waiting in anticipation for the 2029 World Athletics hosting rights. Should Kenya clinch the ticket to host it, it will be the biggest one. So with that, Joy Mutava and I now say it's time to rest. and our very, heartfelt gratitude for esteemed viewers for always keeping us a company in the last 32 minutes or so. My good name is Auma. Evans, our sign language interpreter tonight has been Joy Mtava. Until next time, do have a lovely night, and as always, God bless.